Pokemon!
It's Grift Trio. Get it? Grift Trio. Get it? Do you get it? I figured out why the audio was fucked up. It was because I was trying to do the whole background thing around my face. And it kills my laptop. My laptop's like, bro, stop. I can't handle this shit. It's too many bits, bro. So we had to stop that. Get the fan going, the cooler off, you know. Yeah, this is Grift Trio. So pretty strong Pokemon. So yeah. Anyway, let me get something else up here. Oh, that's the audio. And this guy, yeah, this was it. Okay. What if I told you, all you Boglehead boys, that there is a mathematical fact, a mathematical reason why the Boglehead way is the best? Bears beats Boglehead boys. All right. I'm here to explain it to you. It's called the Kelly criterion, and a lot of people get this wrong. Um, this, when I found about it, has changed my entire investment philosophy for the better. It is a mathematical fact that can anchor all of the Boglehead ways into a single formula. With a bit of a twist, because of this, I don't think tax advantage accounts are best because, according to this, you're supposed to use a little bit of leverage. Also, I just like the flexibility of having a taxable account, ironically. But that is a whole nother video, so I guess we'll just get into. I think there's three applications. One is portfolio leverage. Two, I guess there's only two. I can't think of the third. I'm like really fucking buzzed. But the second one is um, how taxes and fees create friction, which makes it mathematically impossible to profit over the long run, unless your returns are crazy. But so the third thing is that a lot of people get it wrong, and they assume that the Kelly criterion is just three inputs, which is um, win to loss ratio, how much you'll win, and how much you'll lose on each occurrence. What people don't take into account, and this is just a random video I saw on it, was when you apply that to the stock market, you have to include correlation. The formula includes that each occurrence is independent of the next, being that it's 100% uncorrelated, which is not true in financial markets. Things are extremely correlated, and then in your models, you'd have to actually account for things becoming more correlated when prices fall. There's a saying that the only thing that goes up in a market crash is correlation, which is 100% true, which makes the models a little wishy-washy when you try to apply this thinking, this kind of basic thinking, to a how many stocks should I own or how much should I put into this stock. Because one, that's assuming you know the expected return, which can change based on a whole bunch of things. And then you're assuming that each stock is uncorrelated with another, which is 100% not true. And we know this. Like if Amazon goes up 10% in a day, then Netflix is probably going to be up as well. You know, there's correlation there. You have to factor that in. So instead of going into the math there, let's just go into the basic construct of the formula and see what inputs we can put into it to get a positive outcome. And I'll explain like what the formula, what numbers go in and what the number comes out means. Okay. So let's go here. This is my little Excel sheet. Let me make it prettier. Oh, there's Griff Trio again. What's up, guys? How's it going? Oh shit, hold on. um, okay, it's a little spreadsheet I made. I know it's gorgeous. Uh, this is like actual math, not whatever the fuck me Kevin does. Fucking, oh, I use calculus. Calculus says there's a 60% chance. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started with that one. Okay. Ignore the long string of zeros. I was doing some like really long decimal places for some other things, and I just kept it that way. So fuck off. Okay. So 3 inputs: probability of profit, max gain, max loss for any sort of gamble. So let's say it's a coin flip, so it's 50-50, and your max gain is 1 and your max loss is 1. Okay. Your Kelly number comes out to be 0, which means that you should not play this game because there's no money to be made over the long term. However, what we'll find out when we run actual simulations of this formula is that there's an incredible amount of variance with these numbers. An incredible amount, which causes people like this to believe that they're fucking smart when they're not. We'll go into the actual math behind it. We will defend the Boglehead boys with solid numbers, not stimmy curves and macroeconomic squiggly lines and whatever the fuck this idiot talks about or this other fucking Diglett talks about. All right. Anyway, 3 inputs in the formula. It's going to spit out a number. This number tells you a few things. One, the number. So let's change the coin flip, right? Let's say it's a weighted coin and there's a 51% chance that it lands in your favor. Kelly's going to say 0.2, or 0.02, sorry. 0.02 means that you should bet 2% of your total account to this opportunity every single time, assuming it's uncorrelated with all the other occurrences, which we know in the real world is not true. That's another friction we're going to talk about. So there's taxes, there's fees, and there's correlation. Those 3 things will make you unprofitable in the long term. Mathematically proven. We'll go into why. However, like I said before, there's still an incredible amount of variance with your outcome over shorter time frames, which could be a short time frame is 10 years, according to the math. Like, math doesn't care about years for humans. It's how many occurrences there are, right? You get an incredible amount of variance. But over the long term, you're playing a losing game. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So what this 0.02 number tells you is if you bet 2% of your account every single time over the very long run, you will make the most money, the most efficiently, with the least amount of volatility given this specific opportunity. So that assumes each game is uncorrelated and that the opportunity remains constant. Again, that's something that doesn't exist in the real world. The opportunity is not constant, it's constantly changing. Discount rates are constantly changing. So good luck calculating that, right? That's just another thing on top of it. If you bet less than this number, let's say you bet 1% of your account, you will still make money. However, you will not make money as fast. Which means that's another friction is taxes, fees, correlation. What was the other one? Correlation. I guess this one, which is you'd have to bet the exact amount that you're supposed to. So you're supposed to know what edge you have and then bet accordingly. Good luck doing that. Like, I'm telling you, once you understand this formula, you'll understand how silly, just how completely brain dead people like this are. Fucking grid trio. You'll understand. Okay. So if you bet less, you make money, but you're kind of leaving money on the table at the same time because you could have made more. So it takes a long time for a game like this to play out, and you're leaving money on the table by not betting 2%. Okay. Here's the kicker. You bet more than 2%, so you bet 4%. You've turned a winning game into a losing game. Hold on. This is critical. If you take anything away from this video, take this. When you have a game and you have an edge and you overbet the Kelly number, you've turned a winning game into a losing game. It is that simple. This is why. This is exactly why you see the charts on Wall Street Bets that just go like to the fucking floor. We'll run I'll show you the simulations of different win-loss ratios and probabilities and all that, and you'll see the types of curves we get are oddly similar to portfolios we see with people like YOLOing their life savings into out of the money call options. There's a reason for that. It's because there is a low probability of success. And when there's a low probability of success, there's a higher chance of going on a loss streak. On top of that, when you're over leveraging a small probability play, you are most definitely over betting the Kelly number of what it is that you're doing. So again, you've turned a winning game into a losing game, and it's just math. You might have these big, large spikes in between there. That's the variance that I'm talking about. However, over long periods of time, you are not playing a winning game. So here's the Bogle head philosophy by the numbers. This is why you need to use index funds. In a tax advantaged account, I'll get into why not later, but in a tax advantaged account, total world index funds. Here's why. So that's the least amount of friction. You're not paying taxes, you're not paying fees, you're not trying to time the probabilities and the changing of discount rates and future cash flows and like correlation. You're not doing any of that. You're just collecting the market risk premium, which tends to be positive over long periods of time. As soon as you expose yourself to taxes, fees, commissions, all these different frictions, the formula starts to break down. We know pretty certainly that when you buy a stock, there's a like 50% chance it goes up 1% and a 50% chance it goes down 1%. There's fucking skew and all this fucking bullshit. I'm not going to go into that right now. It's fucking 50-50, close enough. But you'll see what happens to the numbers when we start putting things in. Okay? So let's say you buy a stock and there's a 50% chance it goes up 1%. I'm making the numbers really simple. There is skew in the markets. I understand that. Even if you account for that, actually the skewness technically makes it worse, but that's an idea for a different video. I'm not going to go into that right now. What happens is your max gain becomes not 1, but 0.95 because you had to pay taxes and fees, and your max loss stays the same. So every time you win, well, this would actually increase too. Your max loss would increase because regardless of whether you win or lose, you still pay fees. You might not necessarily pay taxes. So it might be like 1.2, and then with taxes is like 0.95, right? So now you're taking a 50-50 stock bet, and these numbers are kind of dramatic. Let's change it to 0.98 and 1.01. So let's say you lose, and you lose a little bit on commissions, but here you lose a little bit. You don't make as much because you have taxes and fees, whereas here you only have fees. You get a negative Kelly number. A negative Kelly number means that you should never play this game because over the long term, you're slowly losing money. That's it. However, if we plug these numbers into an actual simulation, you'll find that sometimes you'll do extremely well for extremely long periods of time. Assuming you don't like bet 10% on each occurrence. Maybe you keep it small. So let's actually go into that right now. So I feel like that will really drive it home here. Okay, here we go. Is the graph going to show up? Where's the graph? Here it is. Okay. Can you guys see that? Sort of can. Let's just move it right here. Let's do this. Whoop. There you go. Now you can see the whole thing. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to plug in the numbers that we were just using and see what happens over 10,000 occurrences. Now this is only using 2 frictions, taxes and fees. Remember, there are other frictions when you trade stocks. Correlation, discount rates, because the discount rate is not constant. It's constantly changing at a random variable, which you'd have to calculate somehow, which makes no fucking sense at all. But let's say you could, right? Let's go in here. Let's change it to 50-50. And if you win 0.99. What numbers did I use? I used 0.99 as a win, and if you lost, you lost. Okay, no, it's 0.98. 0.98 if you win, and 0.99 if you lose, because the frictions that are there. So let's apply this to the whole column. Wow, that was extremely unlucky. What the fuck? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm retarded. Oh, hold on. 1.05, 0.95. Should be 1.01. Okay. I think it doesn't like it when they're both negative like that, so we're going to change it. I'll just use this to explain the variance here. So let's say you had a coin flip. Actually, no, this represents it pretty well. Why is it being silly? Hold on. Buddy. Why are you being silly? Give me 1 second, please. Sorry. Not like froze. Fuck. Oh, once I get this working, I'll show you what I mean. Oh, because doesn't this... Oh my god, it works. Sick. Did I fix it? Okay. Oh my god, look at that one. That's crazy. C2 times 100. Why does it take C? Okay. Let's just say it's 1.01. Oh, this is how much you bet. 0.99. 1.01. Yeah, that'd be close. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. I will now explain what the fuck I'm trying to do here. This is saying you have a coin flip, 50-50. Every time you win, okay, it's always 1-to-1, but this is how much you're risking. So you're risking 1%, or you're oh, that's why I have to change this part. the way this spreadsheet works. Okay, I'll remake it so that it works the other way. And then every time you lose, you're also risking 1%. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You're risking 1% of your account on a 50% coin flip. When we plug that into the formula, stand by. Okay, bam. When we plug that in here, 0.5, and then it's 0.1, 0.99. Oh wait, that's how much? No, it's 1-to-1. Sorry. So, okay. Here's what I'm saying on this chart. 50-50 coin flip. Like you're buying a stock. 50% chance it's gonna go up. 50% chance to go down. I know it's not like that to skew. Shut the fuck up. I don't have time to explain that right now. You're gonna bet 1% of your account. Now notice how the Kelly is 0. So by betting 1% or betting anything, technically you're over Kelly and you're gonna lose over very long periods of time. But it's not long enough period of time for a human to notice. So that's the variance that I'm talking about. So now we go over here. We can simulate 10,000 stock trades that are 50-50 with you betting 1% of your account. Here's one occurrence where you started with $100 and you ended with like 35. Okay. Now here's the variance. Here's another simulation. Okay. In this 10,000 trades, you went from 100 to 450. Is this person any smarter than the last person? No. It is the same exact game. One person just got lucky and the other person did not. Variance. Okay. However, both have frictions. Those frictions over long periods of time and many trades will lose you money over the long run. However, we know that people will pay for opportunities to win money. Take the lottery, for example. A lottery ticket is $2, but it's inherently worth something like 30 cents. People will pay for the skewness of risking 2 to make millions, right? So what happens is people are making stock trades, and because there's these frictions in the market, the people who are playing the game are slowly losing money over time, but they can't visually see it because over the time frame that we kind of trade and like the way we perceive time as humans, this shit doesn't matter. Like this is 10,000 trades. Like that might be as many trades as someone makes in their whole life, you know? So one person lost 60% of their money and one person quadrupled it with the same game. Okay, that is 100% luck, right? Variance. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, very similar results, more ups and downs. Again, another unlucky variance. Unlucky again. He broke even. That one did terrible. Let's see if we can get like a really good one that just gets lucky. So here, like, this is look like a stock you've seen list. This looks like this chart of fucking RK. Like, oh look, I'm a fucking genius going up to 450, and then this is like actually RK. That's kind of funny. And then comes right back down. There's an incredible amount of variance, and you're not seeing the frictions when you do stock trades. So that's why the Bogle headway is the best, because it has the least amount of frictions and gives you exposure to a winning game. Now, when you expose yourself to a winning game and you add, the more frictions you add, the less the math makes sense for you. If you think you're doing well, you're probably just getting lucky. Like, that's exactly what these simulations are supposed to show, is that there's an incredible amount of variance between two people playing the exact same game. So that's why you can have a Meet Kevin who YOLO'd everything in the Tesla and do really, really well and get really lucky and thinks he's some sort of genius and sell courses. But then you have the course members not doing so well. They're playing the same game, but they have different results, luck and variance. That's why it's completely unethical to sell any sort of course because it goes against this math. It just doesn't make sense. It's completely unethical. That's why Boglehead Way is best. Boglehead boys. Now, where do these frictions go? So we talked about taxes, fees, and commissions. I don't think y'all are ready for this. Like, this blows people's minds when I tell them this, but listen. Meet Kevin has $20 million. It's a lot of money for the average person. That can be explained by variance and luck very easily. A lot of Warren Buffett's returns, if you haven't read the paper, it's called Buffett's Alpha. A lot of his returns wasn't necessarily explained by luck, but it was a few other factors. But I believe luck played a huge role in just picking U.S. stocks. That wasn't talked about in a paper, but I believe it had a huge outcome in his results. Luck can explain a lot of someone's results in something. So, man, I forget what I was gonna look up. Oh, that's right. Okay. So me Kevin has $20 million. That's a lot to like the average person, right? So he comes from a position of authority to say, listen, peasants, you do not understand the stimmy curve, you stupid fuck who doesn't have $20 million. Like, this is how he acts, right? I'm telling you, the math doesn't work that way. So I talked about fees and commissions and taxes. Taxes, easy to figure out where that goes, the fucking government, all right? The government gets a lot of money in taxes. Look it up. Part of that comes from stock trading, when people make money with their stocks, right? Fees and commissions, where does that going to? The brokerages. You know how much money Robinhood makes on option contracts alone? Billions. Or not billions. I think they make like a couple hundred million a quarter or something crazy. And how much are these brokerages worth? They're worth billions, like 50 billion, 100 billion, something like that. Because they're the ones on the other side. So there's party A buying the stock, party B selling the stock. They're both paying fees. And there's this third party over here called the brokerage. And they're slowly, as more and more people trade back and forth, they're slowly taking little bits and pieces out of that. And they're playing a winning game. Where these two people think they're playing a winning game, but really they're just experiencing variance and randomness and thinking that that's something. It's not. Because the more friction that's here between these two people, the more the brokerages and the government makes in taxes, because they're the ones actually playing a winning game and you're not, most of the time. Now, there's a lot of evidence for market risk premium. So if you can expose yourself to the market risk premium and a bunch of volatility, then you'll probably do well over time. But if you start adding in taxes, fees, and commissions and everything, that slight market equity risk premium starts to dwindle away really fast. And you start to overbet in Kelly, and that's when you start to lose. So, yeah, hopefully this was a bit informative. This is kind of a very loose video about it. I'm like a whole Topo Chico deep right now, so it's not the greatest video in the world, but I think that's it. Stimmy curve. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Whatever.